Prosperity team, is Dr. Money coming to you from the Prosperity Corner of the universe, where silliness is sacred and nobody's perfect. I am your POP, your Professor of Prosperity, and I'm here so that all of our lives can pop with prosperity. I frequently mention the word flow when it comes to prosperity because basically prosperity occurs in the dynamism or the movement that we have in life, in our energy body, in events in life, and really in the cosmos. Everything works in terms of movement, And oddly enough, one of the things that really gets our energy moving is stillness. Stillness, which occurs in meditation. A lot of people think they can't meditate. That's a powerful thought. I can't meditate. I can't calm my mind. So what if we said, I can meditate? Or we said up until now, I could not meditate. Or I find it easier and easier to meditate, because it's a powerful thought that we cannot meditate. Now, one thing that happens when we get up in the morning is our minds start going and we start thinking of what to do. It's not really so much that we need to have those thoughts about what to do. It's that we're used to this racing of our mind, and it's a part of our identity. In other words, I don't feel alive unless my mind is out there trying to figure things out, plan things, ruminate. And yet what happens is that we actually have the ability to say, it's really safe and okay for me to be quiet and meditate. I have a friend who decided that she said, I just made a commitment that I would meditate every day. She said, I think of myself as a meditator, but I really didn't meditate every day. And so the thing I did, and I love this, she just said, even if I could only meditate for 5 minutes, I would do that. And whenever we make a commitment, and I'm saying to our higher power, to the universe, when we continue to keep that commitment, it's like the universe solidifies our good. It takes our thoughts and it creates them so much faster, and our desires so much faster, because it can see that we're about business. You know, we are about our Father's business. We are about our Mother's business, the business of keeping our mind still. Because what happens in that meditation when we keep our mind still is we begin to get orders. You know, here are our marching orders. This is how we need to behave with compassion. This is what we need to do that's effective and productive and easy. And so the quieter we are, which is odd, the more energy we have and the more movement we have in our lives. So remember, if you're saying, I cannot meditate, I can't keep my mind still, then begin to say, you know, it's interesting. I can now meditate. I find it easier to meditate. I can keep my mind still. Or if that's difficult to believe, just say, it's interesting how my mind is getting a little quieter every time I decide to meditate, every day when I meditate. It's amazing that my mind is now still. So that's a qualifier, or that my mind is now stiller than it used to be, quieter than it used to be. And so you probably are already meditating. You're probably already doing your spiritual practice or sadhana. But I just want to remind you of the value that they have in keeping the flow going. I had a spiritual teacher many years ago. He no longer has his physical body, but he did his spiritual practices for about 2 or 3 hours every day. Every once in a while, he would stay in my house when I was sponsoring him for a workshop and promoting him, and he would be there. And I thought, man, I can't take 2 hours a day to do this. And of course, later in my life, I was able to take 2 hours, 3 hours, just sometimes the whole morning to do my spiritual practices, which of course, my practice is meditation, writing, reading, doing breathing. Sometimes it changes. And I don't read, but sometimes I'll write. Sometimes I'll write, don't read. But it's really easy for me to take up half the day doing that. And what happens is that my productivity becomes a part of my spiritual practice. Since I'm a writer, much of what I've written and published has occurred during this early morning time, that my mind is quieter and I can bring forth the words that come from a higher dimension rather than my local egoic mind, which mostly is about housekeeping. Our lower mind, our egoic mind, is about taking care of housekeeping and managing fear. And of course, it uses fear a lot to manage us. And so it's funny that we have a part of our mind that's false that tries to manage us. But what happens when we are quiet and still and meditate is that we begin to manage that voice. It's a great idea. And as I'm saying, you're probably already doing that, but I believe it always takes cheerleaders to help us keep on doing what it is that we're doing, because it's like, oh yeah, this is great. I love it. She does it. I do it too. And so I call those cheerleaders, whether they're internal cheerleaders, whether when I'm reading something that tells me that this is what I want to do, this is what I'm doing, and confirms that, or whether it's an external voice, somebody saying it in a video, or it's a friend saying, wow, I really like it that you do such and such and such. We all need support. Humanity is a team sport, and we need community. We need fellowship. We need communion with others. So this is Dr. Money, and I'm asking you to take a deep breath in and receive your good. Yes, just breathe that deep breath. Every time we breathe in, if we become conscious and aware, we can say, I'm receiving my good. And then our exhale, as we exhale together with awareness, let us exhale with the intention that all other beings receive their good as well. Again, this is Dr. Money, and I want you to remember one more thing for sure, and that is that I love you.